This is like a random Mikey and me podcast special of sorts. Not even it's special because I'm talking to somebody and I don't even know what we're gonna talk about. Who are you, and tell me why we're sitting here.
Well, I'm Ellie, and I'm your cousin-in-law, I guess.
Yeah,
cousin-in-law.
I get lost in all that.
Yeah, me too.
You're my wife's cousin.
Yep.
Yes. You know, it's so interesting. And this was an interesting thing. Would it... Like, I could put this here, and there's a reason, because I know it. I don't know if it's distracting to where you would keep looking at how you look, or if it's better for it not to be there. Like, what do you think? We can do an experiment. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it makes you feel more comfortable. I think it's a thing to where you'll get more comfortable. That seeing, I need to make those lights darker behind you, don't you?
Do you like, do you think about the fact that you're being recorded?
And I honestly, no, not at all. But I just think I don't have time to. Like, as far as my mind and what I'm thinking, I'm literally thinking about
what you're gonna
what
say.
everything else is, or not even what I'm going to say, everything that's being recorded. You know, I'm thinking more about, okay, the light behind you looks too bright. That's literally what I'm thinking. So I'm like thinking, you know, that's cool, but I don't want it to be like so bright that it, you know what I mean? But now it's interesting because first it's dark, but this is what it's capturing. So yeah, so that's what maybe at the beginning I did, but now it's more like production brain is more, I'll afterwards be like, man, that looked like shit. Probably. I probably did, but I didn't even think about it. But yeah. So talk to me. We talk. You've been living, renting one of our extra rooms. This is like a great thing of getting a house that had these extra rooms that we didn't need, because like when you have family, those could be situations that are perfect for each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really nice. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. You know, you work so much. I don't. It's like and you work at a restaurant and bartend and stuff. So it's. But I and I want to tell you this in person. I was telling this to Steph, but no, this is a compliment.
Okay, let's hear
This
it.
is a compliment. No, like the way you are with my daughter is as beautiful and organic as any of the family relationships I see with her. And it's just like a subtle, like, oh, you're up and doing something, and you see, like, I'll be back here. I have my camera up, but I'm sure she'll be out there sometimes, and she'll just see Sila by herself doing stuff, and you'll just naturally pick her up and hold her. And the way you do things, it's just like and it's not a lot of people love them. It's like there's many different ways the way that their love is exhibited. But I'm just saying the way yours in your personality and the way your character of the way that, you know, just casual love is shown to my daughter, it doesn't go unnoticed. And
that's so sweet.
It doesn't go unnoticed at all. And like I said, I've even talked to
sweet.
Steph, like, just the way Ellie is with her, casually, just things she does, the way she even today when she was eating, you kind of sat with her for a minute and all that stuff.
Yes.
Those
so
are
cute.
little things
like
that you did
she's-
naturally. That people don't do. People love them. They don't do, and that's not a knock against them. But you did it out of wanting, not of a responsibility or anything. So I'm just letting you know. I would notice that. That's it.
Oh, that's sweet. I feel like me and her are so close. Like, she just, I don't know, she always loves when I carry her. I was telling my dad, I was like, I feel like being around babies makes me a better person. Like, she just actually makes me so playful.
See,
and like,
the energy that I'm saying I like from you. I'm pretty sure is what she's picking up, that she likes being with you when you hold her.
yeah.
For me, that's my take on it. Like, you pick her up, you're happy to see her. You've got this like motherliness about you, to where I think she gravitates to it, and it's like this mom love that I'm just telling what I see.
Yeah,
I'm not saying this because what you say. What I see, because I'll have the cameras up and shit, you know.
I never
Don't try
used to be
no,
like that with like kids.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I just felt like ever since she was a little baby, there was one day where I was watching her and I was holding her, and then she fell asleep on me. And once she fell asleep on me, I knew she felt safe, and I was like, Oh, I just felt so good. And like,
Dude,
I don't know. That's the first time I really felt like a nurturing energy inside myself. So I just love being around her. I feel like she brings the best out of me. She makes me happy. She's so cute.
That's great.
She's
Like,
excited to see me. She genuinely sees me and gets happy. That makes me feel
she
good.
is, and she brings the best out of me. Like, I know that. Like,
Yeah.
it's at least this definitely tells me. It's not like I'm a blind bitch to be like, it's like, man, you didn't act this way before. You didn't do this before. But for me, it's just like, well, I told you when I had her, it's like I'd be automatic about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's like your natural instinct kind of comes out.
Yeah, but man, so I know we'll casually talk, and I feel like we align on a lot of life perspective things. Now, I'm not gonna say align, but we're both curious about life in similar ways, and I think we both have similar approaches to how we think to at least try and process and live a daily life.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because I noticed, like, you know how you like to run a lot?
Yeah.
For me, that's kind of, well, not really with running, but just in exercise with general.
Yeah.
I look for that dopamine. I look for that chemical high. I need that release.
Yeah.
Just like I try to be conscious of like taking care of my brain, taking care of like, I don't know how to articulate it.
No, I get what you're saying, and just so you know, it looks that's weird. I've learned to just like actually, I'm using that as a light.
Okay.
How bright and white that is. I'm just like, okay, that can kind of be a light to, like, make you lighter. See, like you can see in there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if I just actually have that white part of the screen, that's gonna help brighten. Because ideally, I've just started using that monitor's light, but I want you to be brighter. But you don't need to be. See, this is me like overthinking shit.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking shit.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not here to talk about me
me.
though, because I want you. What we're talking in the kitchen, and I don't know. You talked about having it like what? Talk to me. I can help you if you want. If you want to help, I say that just because I want you to feel like I can talk too much, and I don't want to talk too much. I want to hear you talk.
How about this? How about I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can ask
to help
me
get
anything.
to know each other. Okay, so this is actually a question that I feel like is really good to get to know someone off the bat.
I wouldn't have prepared for this. I don't think. Let's see.
You don't have to overthink it.
No,
you can keep it simple. Just kind of like off the top.
Off the
name
dome.
your 5 most important values in life. Can be any type of value, material, spiritual, whatever.
The 5? Okay, well, like spiritual relationship with God. Then from there works down systematically almost. Then like immediate family, like ensuring them. And so I'll say God, then family to I can use umbrellas. So spiritual relationship with God, number 1. Family, number 2. Like positive relationship with friends, number 3. But then, okay, underneath those, the kind of ideas and goals that fundamentally dictate a lot of those is like having an absolute moral system, like believing in right and wrong, and I'm not, believing it in a right and wrong, not, I could tell you what I believe it is, but, you could say that's not right and wrong, but whatever it is, actually having a commitment to believing in absolutes. And the last thing is, always do your best to find a peaceful resolution and to try and understand another person's perspective before just assuming things.
Okay, that's good.
Sorry, that was probably a lot.
No, that's good. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
All right, so what are your 5?
Oh, I knew this was going to come
No,
around.
I could be more interesting than that if you want. No, what's your number 1?
My number 1.
I don't want to know 5. I want to know the top dog.
Off the top of my head, I would say family.
Okay.
Family is number 1. 2, probably family, loyalty, honesty. doing the right
Gosh.
thing. Like, I kind of understand what, I don't know if this is what you were trying to say, but
Yeah, I
like,
probably said way too many things.
you do the right thing. Whatever you believe is right, you're trying to do the right thing.
Yes.
That's how I am too. I may not always be right, but I will always try to do what I believe is right.
Yeah.
And
You'll be acting from good intentions.
yes, always good intentions and positivity. Positivity over everything.
Okay, that's what we were kind of talking about briefly in there, because I agree. And there's it's sad. I'm gonna say that it's for most people. I think, I mean, most people. I feel like I can confidently say that it for most people, the simple act of the power of positive thinking, what that can do for you.
Yeah,
And
change your whole life.
Yeah, and it's like for me personally, it's you can do it and you might see like things manifest positively, but honestly, I think it's more about having a positive mindset. It makes you see the positive in things that are happening regardless.
Yeah. And I think if you have a positive mindset, it's a default consequence that positive things will manifest. That's going to happen no matter what. But I
Say
was
that
thinking
again,
about
because
this
that sounds
earlier.
pretty smart, but I'm just trying to process it.
Okay.
As a default consequence?
As a default consequence of positive thinking, positive things will manifest in your life no matter what.
Yeah? Oh, do you have evidence? Like, have you seen that in your own life?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody will see that in their life. That's what I believe to be an absolute.
Yeah?
I mean, even they can break it down. Like, this can be proven scientifically. Positive things manifest into more positive things.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain like quantum physics well enough.
Yeah.
But in the end, everything positive, negative, all of that, it can be shown physically, it can be shown in science, it can be proved. You know what I mean?
No, I 100% believe. You bring up quantum things, not like quantum is like things I don't neither of us understand, but I just know that where technology and even AI, things are be able to be measured more and more precise, to where just whatever this, because I believe in the spiritual realm, but I feel like for me in popular or just general culture, metaphysical would be the way they would probably say it. For me, like spiritual and metaphysical are kind of really the same thing.
Yeah,
but
me too.
that there's things going on in reality and in our lives that we don't see, but people feel that there's no scientific explanation for. But I'm not gonna say fear, but I think with AI and kind of the crazy stuff we're doing, I think we're gonna get to a point of actually maybe closer fundamentally understanding some of this stuff. That's almost like stuff we're not supposed to understand.
Yes, I think that we weren't supposed to understand it because you said these things that can't be proven. I actually think that they have proved all of these things, like all of these different like new age spiritual things, all these medical like manifestation, positive energy, astral projection, stuff like that.
Well, I know remote viewing has pretty much been proven as much as it can be. Like
they have put everything out there, but we weren't supposed to know that, so we didn't get taught all of that. But that information is still out there.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you go down different rabbit holes, getting into like quantum physics and stuff like that, you'll see that they talk a lot about all the things that we're talking about.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because like you're saying, there's actually a lot of information and some, I would say, empirical evidence, or at least studies and useful information, but it's literally not interesting to people enough. Like it is.
That's crazy to me.
Like it is and isn't. But it's just like the power in like potential takeaways from it and how it can be applied. It's everyone. I don't know. I'm not gonna say society's dumb, but it's not. it's understandable that it's not interesting to them because I guess it really shouldn't be. But there's certain people it should be, and I think like you and me and even incredibly smart people, and I think they're the ones that's like, oh, shite. They're going to use it being used in a certain way, one way or the other, is almost like you can see society being swayed one way or the other.
Right.
Like, the dumbing of society with social media and the crap. It's like, man, there's like, but
I feel like that was to keep people less powerful, because if we can't come together and be a powerful people, we can't overcome things that are suppressing us. Because I don't think it was an accident that we don't know all of these things that are natural to our universe. We don't know these spiritual things are our natural universe. This is our reality. This is not, oh my God, like this is real life. This is this is stuff that we're supposed to master so we can be the most effective people and powerful people. But I don't know who they is, but I can just sense something doesn't want us to be empowered. That's what drives me crazy, is that people don't spend time trying to figure this stuff out. This is important to me. This keeps me awake at night. Because I feel like I actually have the power to change it if I understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Because I believe that.
You're not crazy. And that's the thing. And it's like, it's wonderful that you actually, it's wonderful that keeps you up at night. It's wonderful. Yeah. It's like, wait. And I feel like, and I'm not gonna blame it on phones. I'm not gonna blame, but just, humanity and progression has led us technologically to certain points. And it's like, okay, we're the manifestation of the power to sell or distract is literally everyone in their hand. And I think people are so distracted to not, and they're not even shown or intelligently provided with like information, like they're trained to not even consider it, and they're just. I feel like it's distraction and like dumb. I'm not gonna say dumbing, but I'm just gonna call it distraction.
Yes.
Distraction, and it's even just like. And it's good, but like I was asking you what you like to watch, and you say you don't really like shows or anything. You don't watch anything, and it's like, 'cause you're a lot like you're a lot younger than me. You're like early 20s, maybe barely 21. I'm gonna say, but it's like you grew up in an age with phones that I'm happy I didn't. Like we didn't have smart, like in high school, cell phones and texting was just coming out for the most part. But it's like your brain has literally been trained on the instant, like low attention span. Like, and you say it's hard for you to actually watch something because you can't pay attention to it, basically.
Literally, and
it's not your fault.
It happened to so many people. That didn't happen for no reason. That happened by design. That was the trap that so many people in this generation fell into.
It's not even their fault. That's the thing I feel bad for.
But the thing is, we have the power to reprogram our brains. You know what I wrote in my journal 2 days ago was that I have a strong attention span. I am focused. I have a strong attention span. I am focused because I'm going to program my brain to be that way.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to just...
You know what a funny thing is? And I think I've posted like on Twitter a couple times, but I know at least a couple months ago, probably, I was just like, and I was doing it to myself. And it's like a historic, like, generally, I feel like it's easy to think of, at least for me, just like always being productive, trying to be productive. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to actually sit down and do things leisurely anymore. Yeah. But even I love movies and I've watched so many movies, but like I'm getting older and like it's hard for me. But intentionally sitting down and watching a movie and like putting your phone away. Yeah. But not doing it being like, oh, I'm wasting back. No, like doing it to prove to yourself that you can pay attention to something for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Yes. A lot of people, they can binge things. And so there's a lot of people that's fine. But I know a lot of people, and I feel like my wife, I felt like a lot of younger people growing up, like they actually can't just sit there and watch, and they'll watch it, but they'll have their phone on. But like the challenge is and even for you, find something that looks interesting to you.
Yeah.
Turn your phone off or put away and be disciplined and prove to yourself that you can actually watch and pay attention to something that's an hour or 2 hours long.
Yes.
Like, it's an exercise. It's so funny to think that I think watching movies intentionally might be one of the best things that people can do because they've lost the ability to sit there and pay attention to something that long.
Right. And you know what else is great about movies? I have seen a few movies, but the feeling...
You've seen a few.
I've seen a few.
Okay, you're bragging. Okay, scoreboard.
But the feeling that you can get from a movie, you can get really inspired again with life, or you can get inspired with creating or making your own art or just thinking differently. You can have a lot of new ideas introduced, like good and bad.
Yeah.
Things introduced into your mind that can inspire you.
Yeah. That's why I love them. So that's why keep going.
When I was a kid, my mom didn't watch me a lot. I mean, my mom didn't let me watch a lot of movies.
Wait, so your mom didn't watch you a lot, or she didn't let you watch a lot of movies? Let's make sure I understood exactly. I know your mom. I love your mom. She didn't let you watch a lot of movies.
She did watch me. She was watching me, telling me
to make sure you weren't watching movies. Okay.
Scary movies, violent movies, adult movies.
My parents the same way.
She was on it. She was like, what you put into your mind.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yes, that's forever going to be in your conscious, and that's going to change you. So I was grown up in a house where I was taught that what you put into your mind is like what you're going to put out.
Okay.
So I guess that's another reason why I'm kind of sensitive to stuff that I watch. A lot of times when I watch violent things, it feels like I'm in the movie. I feel like I don't like to watch stuff like that. It's not entertaining. It actually makes me feel pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That also has to do with why I don't watch.
So violence in like, are you talking about like horror movie violence or just violence in anything? Like, say it's like a gangster movie or
violence,
just anything.
I don't like to see anything.
Because I don't like horror movies. I don't see like torture stuff, but like violence and crime and stuff I can handle.
But I'm very sensitive to violence. I don't know if like, I don't know why. Maybe in another life
that's not necessarily. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Yeah, maybe.
I just like, even with blood, if I bleed a lot, I'll pass out.
Really?
I'm very sensitive to it, and that's one thing I know is my weakness.
My sister, whenever we were really young, she'd get a blood drawn, she would faint.
Yeah.
As a child, she would.
It's just, I've always been like that. I don't know why.
It's interesting.
I haven't had much. I haven't had much experience to practice breaking that.
Well, we could practice cutting each other if you want.
I don't just I don't get into violence.
It's good. I would say that's a good practice not to get into violence. I try it. I'm not a violent person whatsoever.
No, I'm not.
You know,
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah. So tell me more about yourself, like, because we don't know each other. Like, it cracks me up because I'll make jokes or do things, or like even in there, you're casually having a little bit of tequila with my sister-in-law and your cousin, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'll take some. And it's like, oh, you get down. It's like, man,
Wait,
college.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, college and stuff. No, I lived I had responsible fun, but I'm not gonna say it was right. I'm not gonna say it was wise.
Matthew,
but I did.
I just know that
I had a lot of
wild.
I've had a lot of fun. Bad, good fun, controlled fun, and I've learned from things. I've learned a lot, and I'm not.
That's good.
I'm not saying any. Well, how are you? So tell me about. How old are you, by the way? And this you don't want to say.
I'm 24.
So you're 24. I know you're like 20ish is.
Yeah, you said 21. I was like,
because I'm kind of trying to keep track of how long I've known my wife, let alone been married to her.
I think.
Because you weren't 21
it like 2018?
yet. Yes.
Yeah, I was 18 when y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like.
So I was living like a whole different life. Y'all have been around for like.
How do you feel from? Because for me, once you get older, I just think about if you just look at the statistical, or not statistical, but just look at the ratio. Like, okay, I've been alive 40 years. 5 years is a much smaller percentage than 5 years of your life. And
Yeah,
that's,
that's
just the
crazy.
way, like, you think about, everything when you're young is a big event, whatever. It's because, yeah, you haven't had many. The sample size is small. The sample
Dang,
size
that's
is
crazy
small,
to think
right?
about.
It's because the sample size of experience is small. My sample size of experience is 40 years. Yours is only
Yeah,
24. So from 18 to now is like a huge percentage of your whole existence, right?
yeah,
But tell me
literally.
about 18 to now. Like,
I've lived like 8 different lives between 18 to now.
what's that even mean that you can
I've
say?
had so many different versions of who I am, and I feel like I'm still not even at the final product. I feel like I'm actually very far away from who I really am gonna be, if that
I
makes
agree.
sense.
But so if you look at your 18-year-old self, do you look back and just feel like a completely different person?
Yes.
You do?
Like, I don't even, like, physically, we look completely different. Mentally, everything. Even, like, every little thing about my life is
Gosh, that's
different.
so
Where I lived, the friends I had, the people I was around, everything is
just
different.
your life perspective and everything is different.
Yeah, every single thing.
I love it. It's just so interesting to me because again, I feel like I've been the same person since I've been aware of being a person. And
And
that's
I
just
can
different.
understand that.
I'm not saying anything right or wrong. And I feel like, if anything, I'm very thankful that I was raised and I've learned things that I've just fundamentally ascribed to where
Yeah.
it's made the core of who I am easy to be the same, But it's just crazy because it's like I, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just interested. I find it
Do you
fascinating.
feel like, okay, like you said, like your core of who you are could be consistent? Do you feel like your journey was, maybe you had like layers around that you slowly shed? Like the core was always the same, but like the layers around.
Yeah, I guess that's something I just don't even for me personally, don't view life or see it in that way, in the way I exist.
Like, how do you mean?
Like, you're talking about cores or layers, maybe like talking about like
Yeah,
personality characteristics,
yeah.
things that you're more comfortable in being in your own skin or something.
Do you feel like you have always had prominent and developed characteristics of your personality and that they've always been the same?
Yeah,
Really? Wow. I don't feel like, I feel the complete opposite.
yeah, and I'm not. I think I'm the weirdo here
No, but I
because
can
even
see
like
that.
as a
It's
little
not
kid,
weird.
I just remember like I
Dude,
would talk to adults and I would have adult conversations with them whenever I was like 13. You know?
and you know what's funny? The picture of you on the refrigerator,
Yeah.
like you've always looked the exact
That's
same.
what I'm saying. That little kid's face. He was sitting there
It's
thinking the same thoughts.
like, and I can totally see that. I can just imagine you already just like, yeah,
You
I
know?
can totally see that.
Yeah, and that's just me. But
Yeah, that is, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. That's who you're supposed to be.
yeah,
That's why you are.
yeah. It's just interesting. I'm more interested by you because I feel like
I,
that's normal people. I feel like you're more like normal people.
you know why? Maybe is because I feel like I went through certain core wounds when I was a child that were detrimental to my personality in a way that I wasn't confident enough to be who I am.
Yeah.
So, my journey has been more of like healing that wound and then relearning and then being who I actually was all along out like before
The
that
trauma.
conditioning. Yeah.
I might call it trauma. I feel like it's
Yeah.
overused. I bet that's me just in my definition because I know your mama, but like there's other things in lives that like are very traumatic, and for a kid, I think anything can be trauma because the impact that
Yes.
on a little person. Because I have a daughter, to where
Yes.
trauma is the
You
right
can't
word
intellectualize what's going on. So it can, anything can be trauma.
for like, for especially for children as adults. I think
Yeah.
trauma is overused for like adult experiences,
Right.
but no, childhood. Yeah, I don't think. If anything, I feel like maybe it's underplayed because
For
of how
sure.
traumatic events can be for children.
Because these things literally, they stunt, or they can actually just prevent you from not ever becoming or living in who you are.
Yeah.
You become whatever your condition may be, whether your wound was like abandonment, abuse, a
Or
narcissistic
bullying, or could
mom,
even be in school. It could be
bullying,
in,
being fat.
yeah, it
Just
could be you're
these
made fun
things
of and
that
bullied in
shape
school.
who you believe you are, and they can like manifest into resentment of your own self, and then you don't really know who you are because you're so disconnected. And then when you start living like that for so many years, that's how you learn to be. And
So
that's
do
who
you
you
feel,
think
do you
you
feel
are.
like you went through that kind of a journey yourself?
Yes.
So how
I feel like I'm just now finding out who I am, and I actually feel like I have characteristics that are like baby characteristics that are supposed to be like, I feel like in 10 years I'm going to look back at myself and be more strong in who I am, if that makes sense.
Like there's certain qualities and characteristics that suffered some kind of stunting so early on, and now they're just awakening. And if they had been, fully developing along with your age, you feel like you'd be better. But it's fine because that's life and it's a catch up. But how did you get to this point of recognizing these things? Like, because are we just lucky? Or we are not lucky because we have different brains, but that's the beautiful thing is that you actually are feeling these things to not be stuck in it. Because a lot of people are just stuck in it.
It was just so.
Was there a singular event, or was it just a gradual thing of independence as an adult?
It was really a compound of all of that, but a lot of it had to do with independence because I'm the oldest, and the things and the conditions that happened when I was growing up, I have always tended to.
The oldest of how many? Just I know, but
3.
Okay.
I have a younger sister and a younger brother.
Gotcha.
But I would always just be by myself. I would play by myself. I would always, anytime something was going on in my internal world, the way that I learned to cope was isolation and independence. So I feel like that, I don't know, just being by yourself, you have a... Okay, stay with me here.
Oh, I'm staying with you.
So it's like my brain is going like all this way. Eventually it's going to turn into the pattern where I turn inwards and I start thinking like, I don't know. Really,
I feel like you're already going inward so much with everything you're saying is an introspective person's words.
Is it?
Everything you're saying is somebody who's mindful of their experiences they're having and processing them, considering their whole life, in factoring the fact that their emotional state and responses and natural self. How is that not inward? And maybe just tearing it.
You know what actually launched me to go inward was so many
Shrooms.
bad things happened. And so many bad things happened that I was trying to leave my reality so much that I did try shrooms. And when I tried shrooms, they really opened up my mind.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, before I started thinking, I started seeing. I would see synchronicities. This happened like 2019. I would start to see little things like numbers.
So you're like 17, 18 or something like that.
In 2019, I was 19 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Just in the middle of so much bad stuff happening.
Yeah.
But I would see little things. So I would start to pay attention to synchronicities any way I could. That has led me on a path. Since then, I've always followed along. It has become a whole entire journey.
Yeah.
That was actually like the rabbit. Have you seen Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
That was the rabbit showing up in my life. And then I followed it. But like that was the beginning of my journey back to myself.
So these synchronicities, like, are there certain ones that stand out?
it started with numbers.
Okay.
I would always see, I know people talk about it a lot now, but in 2019, this was new. I would always see 222, 1111, 333. I wouldn't think anything of the numbers specifically, but I would pay attention to the fact that I'm noticing them.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like, this is crazy. My grandpa had just died. So much stuff has happened. So I was very vulnerable emotionally.
Yeah.
These signs weighed heavy on me. They were very important. That's why I was able to recognize
do these numbers like have some like supposed like significance to certain ones? Because I'm asking out of lack of out of ignorance.
And I think that they can be different. Like you can see 555, and it can mean a lot of different things depending on what it means to you, depending on your circumstance, if that makes sense. Like
it makes sense to me, but I just know. So you saw these number patterns.
Like, okay,
it was just the fact that you saw them was important, or did the numbers have meaning in the moment?
It was the fact that something out there is speaking to me.
Okay.
Like something greater than me. I see it, and then the music. I would hear a line in the music, like a line that would stand out in my head. Then the next day, someone would say that line. Yeah. I'm like, I've never heard this in my life. Why am I hearing it 2 days in a row? Then the next day, it get brought up again. I'm like, why did I hear that 3 days in a row? That's a sign. I started following those signs. Then something would come up on the TV about whatever I'm talking about. My friend would talk about the next day. Every little thing would lead me to something.
Like, was there like, I know my faith is a big thing. Was there like a God component in it? Or is it just like you didn't tie it to anything spiritual? I'm just asking out of curiosity.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not a singular being.
Gotcha. It's like a universal connectedness.
Yes, it's like it's the connectedness of everything. It's the flow of everything. There's like a rhythm that everything flows in. Yeah. And it was like I was getting glimpses of that. I was getting proof that that's happening. Yes. If that makes sense. I didn't tie it to like God is speaking to me or anything like that. It was like I'm in tune with my natural surroundings. Okay. I dig that. I'm manifesting harmony in the universe. Yeah. And I'm getting support in my physical reality that I'm on the right track. Yeah. And so ever since 2019, it's been 5 years, 6 years. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. That has grown into something great. Like, that has become, actually, that is making me and fueling who I am and how I live and the path that I'm on and the journey I'm on. I used to be in a horrible, horrible spot.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to say as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I'm getting to know you.
True.
But don't say anything you don't want to. But I love you because you're your family, and I also think you're a wonderful person. So.
Thank you. You too. But but I just feel like there were so many times that I thought. Okay, there were so many times in my life where I genuinely felt helpless and disempowered to control anything in my reality. I felt like everything was negative and horrible. And
I mean, that sounds like borderline suicide.
It was. I dealt with that.
Understandably, if you feel that way, it's understandable to think, what's the point of living?
Yes, and especially I feel like I feel my emotions intensely. So
I can get that.
It was hard for me to cope with those intense emotions, and I turned that inward. Like I would self-harm. I would do self-destructive behaviors because of that feeling. So that's why I know for a fact positive thinking will change your whole life because it will change your mind.
You reprogram yourself, basically.
Yes. And it is actually very easy to program your mind. A lot easier than I thought it was in that dark hole. I thought
what's like a cliff notes? How are you reprogramming your mind?
In a simply put, because it's not as simple as it sounds, but simply put, the bottom line is you have to choose to become conscious. That means you are in control of your experience.
We were. I'm 2-3 weeks ago. We're talking about a topic locus of control, where there's people that that whole concept of you can believe that you're basically a victim of life, or that you're in control of your life, and it sounds like that's
because
the same thing.
You are in control. That's the thing. You are. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to accept that and choose to get a hold of your life and choose which direction it's gonna be in. The circumstances that you're in, it's like anything that's happening is temporary, because everything can always be changed. Everything. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is set in stone. So you have to choose to become conscious. That takes a lot of work. You have to choose to listen to every little thought and be willing to challenge every negative thought. And
it sounds like listen and know which ones to not listen to, and that gives strength to the ones that are against this positive path.
Yes, and that practice will give you clarity, wisdom, strength.
So what's your
resilience.
daily practice?
My daily practice is I choose to...
So you wake up in the morning.
When I wake up, I say today's going to be a good day.
You say it out loud?
I try to.
If not, then you probably think about, like, saying it out loud is probably a good thing. So you start off with the positive affirmation that's like programming in your mind.
Yes. I'm always trying to speak over my day. When I'm on the way somewhere, I'm like, I will get there safe. I'm going to get there safely.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to, I don't know if this makes sense, but I don't ever try to just leave my time open. I try to choose my every single space.
Like everything
in my day,
you do, even if you're
over.
just like casually bullshitting, be like, I'm going to either have a good time doing this, or else I'm gonna go hang out with friends. I'm gonna have a good safe time with my friends. I'm gonna connect with them. I'm not just gonna go there and see what happens. I'm gonna go there with the mindset of actually connecting, like right now.
Yes.
Like
before I go into work, I'm like, I'm gonna bring the good vibes. I'm gonna have a great day. Today's gonna be an easy day, a great day. I'm gonna make a lot of money. I do that every single day. Yeah. I do that even before. Sometimes when I walk in here, I'm like, I'm going to bring a lot of love in this house. I'm going to bring like good vibes. I try to be in control of everything.
And whenever the randomness of life throws you in a situation, like say work goes to shit.
Oh, it
does.
Like
how do you combat that?
That's literally like, that's like a soccer practice. That's practice for the scrimmage. Like that's my time
for
to
Super Bowl.
Practice
like that's
everything that I've been trying to cultivate in
being
myself.
able to overcome those little moments.
Yeah, I'm like, this is my chance to practice what I've been trying to say, what I want to happen. This is my chance.
Yeah.
That builds the muscle of what's fueling that. I know that. So I'm trying to really make that muscle strong. I want my muscle to be stronger than everyone.
So awesome to have that mindset.
Because I feel like
you don't get
I take responsibility.
Those little moments don't get the best of you.
They can't.
They can, but you can look back and recognize that.
Yes, because I feel like I have the power to change the people around me, and I have the power to set the tone of the vibration around me.
Right there, for me, is like one of the biggest things. Like
revelations.
You have this positive. It's like when you walk into a room or just you hang out with people and there's somebody shows up like, oh, they're showing up and they're just like a negative drain on the room.
Yeah.
Or someone shows up like, oh, they're coming. They're excited they're coming, right?
And it spreads.
Like, yes. Like you become the person that people are excited to be there.
Yes.
You know why? Because you bring that positive energy.
Yes. And we're all capable of doing that. But I've seen like I've practiced building that muscle.
Yeah.
So I try to always do that. And I know when
whatever it is you do on your own journey to this, I'm sure you might write it in your journal or not, but I would say think explicitly, just your own practices. I want you to say this because everyone's mind is different. Whatever it is you're doing might be helpful to other people.
I agree. I want to build a platform for myself. And I want to find my community. I just wrote that too, like 3 days ago. I will find my community and I will build a platform for myself to help people. I know that I know that it could help people. I just
I
need to
know-
find my community.
I know you can.
I believe it. I
I'm
feel
just-
like I'm being prepared to do that, and I'm being led in that direction.
I know you can help other people in a way that I like. I can help people in my own way, but honestly, like, there's people you can reach and help in a way that I could never do because, again, we're different people. We speak
Exactly,
different
that's our
languages.
special
Like
gifts.
it's you have a gift, and I think I'm here to support that as much as I can.
Thanks. I saw this thing that was like, you know how someone can call you and be having a horrible day,
Yeah.
and you're telling them some advice, and then you get off the phone and you're like, dang, I was giving them some good advice.
Yeah.
It was basically explaining like your gift is not necessarily for you. It's your
not
gift for other people.
Honestly, any gift you have, the nature of the gift is not for you.
Exactly.
Like you're gonna receive positive benefits from it,
Yes.
but it's not for you.
Exactly.
It's literally for the world or God, God and or the world, just
Yes.
whatever. Where it's like a gift of teaching, a gift of generosity, a gift of pain, like all
Yes.
these things, but it's not for you.
And that's why I feel like we have a responsibility to choose to become conscious so we can choose to be positive and share our gifts. If we did that, we would live in a harmonious world.
Yeah.
The weak would be comforted and supported back to being strong.
And
It could all be so simple.
yeah. And me personally, at least I get what you say in my own interpretation when you say be conscious, but summarize what you even mean by saying be conscious.
What I mean by that is
Your
being
interpretation, yeah.
present.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Being in the moment. Being here now and being in control. I'm not just zoned out. I'm not disassociated. I'm not present, not here just because my body's here. Because a lot of times our bodies can be somewhere and we're nowhere to be found. We're not involved in the moment.
Yes.
Being conscious, you're choosing to be involved in your reality. I'm here in every moment that I am.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
That is our responsibility as people. We're supposed to. There's not going to be a call to action. We have to be creating the call to action to choose to do that. If we want to see positive changes in society, which I do. I know a lot of other people do too. So the strong ones have to start being the leaders. And we will make the positive change. It will be.
Yes.
It already has been a ripple effect. There's so much negativity out there that we don't always see the positive benefits and the positive changes and enlightenment that's happening in society and in today's world.
Yeah, it's smothered by BS.
It's out there. These kids are being born so freaking conscious and powerful and believing in themselves. I'm telling you, it's out there. And we need to connect with those people so we can make each other stronger.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Well, I know what to get you for Christmas now. Look at that. I just knew I just had to get you comfortable because I knew you had a lot to say. I knew you had a lot. It's so great. You know what I love? Some people sit there. It's like, and it's fine. Everyone's different. You just know when someone's got a lot to say. But you think, man. But I'm 1,000% on board with what you're saying.
I've been dying to be asked this. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but honestly, you probably have been.
Yes, because I
who,
love talking about this. This is important to me. I told you this stuff keeps me up at night. This is my reality that I live in.
This is a freaking platform to actually share these powerful thoughts
that
that are nothing but positive.
And another thing that I've been noticing.
Rob, time's up. No, I'm joking. It's like she's about to go in the other room and go to... Yeah. Stephanie is wondering, what are they doing? Are they having a good time without me? Honestly, man, I love my wife. She's so great. I do. She is wondering, Beck. Keep going, though.
She was probably so surprised to see me in
Oh, hell yeah, she was.
She's
Why think about how long you've been here out of nowhere?
Exactly. On the most random time. But you did catch me off the Don Julio.
Yeah, it was. I walked out and saw that, and
Yep.
yeah, in my journey of how my journey of life is my own journey of life, but it's all interesting. It's all perspective. It's all like I was saying, it's like the Mikey, my brother in arms. Uh, it's always fascinating to me.
What is?
And the more I'm learning more about myself as I get older. I guess it's maybe just more like learning about yourself. Not that like, oh, I'm I'm different or something, but like assessing how you've been and being like, man, I am whatever compared to like whatever other people, not like, so just the way we think and the way whatever. So it's like it's just interesting, just even just like how because I mean I'm an emotional person, but I don't think I guess I'm not near as emotional as other people. Just like how people can something can rub them the wrong way, and it'll like affect them so much.
Yeah.
Like for like it might just be at 30 minutes, or it might just be like they have a hard time talking. Like like if you were to say something to me that rubbed me the wrong way, and I just kind of have a hard time talking to you,
Yeah.
it's like I don't. I'm not wired to like. You might say something me. Oh, that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But most people would be rubbed the wrong way. But I'm like,
But
I'm. It's just weird to get older.
Yeah, you are actually you probably at any age like you are just wired differently in that way because I
Yeah.
am more of like an emotional person. But what
Yeah,
I
everyone
love
is.
is being around people like you who are wired differently because
Yeah.
it's like that's what we need. I need to see things in a different way than I'm able to.
In
I
a
actually can't
projective
see
way.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate the different perspectives.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing.
That brings balance to life. I mean, I feel like
Yes.
your kind of people and my kind of people we're supposed to.
That's
What
like
we're
that's
made
how
to live
that's how
together
we
for.
live as successful humans.
Yes, that we all
That-
come together with all
Yeah.
of our different.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
every difference, and that's the beauty of it all. It's like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I kind of envision you like to Stephanie go on TikTok and seeing you like giving some empowering message or something, like I already see that in my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Of course I love it. No, but it's just like what is the path that you're working toward, like outside of individual growth and development, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna say enlightenment. We'll talk about enlightenment sometimes on the show. It's kind of it's kind of like an ongoing conversation. Everything we talk about dealing with casually here and there, life perspectives, how to process just everydayness, and and not too long ago, just for me, because I don't think whatever enlightenment is like a textbook, like, oh, this is what it is. I think it's like a personal perspective understanding. But for me, it's like a complete rational acceptance of your reality and being able to live and be okay and positive in that, regardless of the environment. So
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, I might be just I'm working as at a McDonald's, or I'm unemployed, or I'm driving Uber, or else I'm a successful rich businessman. But whatever my life is, like you're talking about, being in control of it, realizing, okay, and people might be like, man, I'm always getting screwed. Whatever. It's like you're not always being the victim, but
Yeah.
accepting life, but always choosing to be positive in spite of whatever life
Yes.
throws you, and just because that level of peace, it's the way us humans are wired. It's so funny because there's like the study on psychology. It's I don't know if it deals with the idea of, it's like it's, I don't remember a tolerance, like a tolerance, right? So it's right now the most stress you're feeling about anything, right? Right now, whatever thing stresses you out the most, and it might be finances, it might be relationship, it might be something. All those problems get resolved. And money in relationships aren't your problem at all. You could never have to worry about money again. But you get to a point and there'll be something that stresses you out. And physiologically, that stress level that you'll get is exactly the same with all these perfect conditions that you're feeling right
Yes.
now.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually to go back to the question you asked me earlier, that would be my second answer. Becoming calloused to life, having a tolerance to life. And you know, I've had this conversation with my dad. Chemically, when you're experiencing pain, stress, trauma, any negative thing, it's these chemicals going off in your brain making these,
Yes.
you know, feelings that you have. You, just like any other chemical you put in your body, you built a tolerance to these chemicals. So that's why some people can be in a high stress and be under a lot of stress and still seem calm. They have that, I call it like calluses of their mind.
Yeah.
They have a tolerance to this, to the chemicals actually of the stress of life. So I feel like that kind of has to do with regulating your nervous system and learning how to regulate your nervous system. That's a good way to learn how to cope with life, negative emotions, anxiety, stress. If you can actually calm your physical body down, mentally it all goes away with it.
In the life hack, and I've talked about this before, at least to myself. I know I've probably in different conversations on our podcast, but there's a legit scientific biohack that honestly, once Sila gets old enough to have these conversations with her, and I think this should honestly be taught in freaking kindergarten up, breathing exercises.
Right.
One of the baseline, like, that God made us, we have a biohack that's controlled breathing. And there's specific breathing exercises that literally have an effect on your brain and emotions. And it's funny because, like, when people hyperventilate, like you see on movies and shows, naturally, like, they try and get them to stop. Your body is actually normally getting you to hyperventilate for a reason.
Yes.
And you normally shouldn't actually stop them hyperventilating. But that whole effect of hyperventilating, if you just sat there and actually did that, there's studies that they're doing in like the 70s where they would actually work to induce full-on hallucinogenic trips akin to acid and LSD from breathing exercises.
I believe that.
Yeah.
You know, they have whole practices like yoga, stuff like that. Yeah. It's around breathing exercises.
Exactly.
That reaches higher consciousness.
And then they'd be like, oh, calm down, take deep breaths. It's like, yeah, but honestly, the breathing is the hack. That's the power thing. Therapy. It's a simple power. Yes. So powerful.
And that should be taught like in kindergarten.
Yes.
That's one of the first things I learned in therapy when it came to anxiety. Most of the time when you're having an anxiety attack, you'll find you're not really breathing full deep. If you can actually be conscious and get control, deep breaths, you're calming your nervous system down.
And it's a dual purpose, right? Because the breathing exercise itself is having a biological effect with the oxygen, but also you're giving your brain something to think about.
Yes. It's literally
distracting you from the other stuff.
Emotion.
And you're actually having a biological response.
Isn't that amazing? That's free information. That everyone should know.
It's like the simplest. People can pay so much money for therapy, but honestly, if you just learned some textbook breathing exercises and being intentional with it, you'd be like, I feel as good as I did from talking to that dude for 10 minutes.
Yes. And see, when I was younger, I went to therapy when I was young. So I was able to see
me too.
These things work. This is like simple thing.
It's part of their program. It's part of their program.
Teaching me I have the power to control my mood and cope with life.
Yeah. I tell you, like, breathing.
That's why I want to teach everyone that. Everyone has the power to do the same thing.
I tell you what, at least for me, you know, actually being in I don't sit there and practice breathing exercises that often, but for whatever it's worth, because I got figured out and I don't feel anything, right? No, I'm joking. I will do it, but I also know, and for me, it's running, but you pick a form of physical exertion that works for you, you know, but actually make yourself sweat a little bit every day.
Yeah.
Like, and it might just be brisk walking. It might be something. Like, our bodies aren't designed to be sedentary for 8 hours a day. Right. They're not. That's not how they're wired. So you can imagine all the buildup of stuff that's actually supposed to be worked out.
Yes, it's supposed to be worked out.
Yeah, like, and so on top of all the stuff in our brains, we get these brains that are getting worried with all these ideas and thoughts, and then literally no outlet. Literally no outlet.
Literally what it is. And you know, not even like that as well, but a lot of things we're taking into our mind, we're not working it all the way down into our body. We're not, like you said, we're not working it out. It's literally getting stuck. We're getting tired. Our neck is hurting. Our back is hurting. It's trapped in our body. We're not getting it out.
And it's crazy. There are physical manifestations of it.
Yes,
people like
chronic disease.
Yeah, it's insane. Like the mind-body connection, it's not a freaking joke.
It's not. It's just
crazy.
I don't know if it was us. I don't know if there's like something against us, but we were purposefully disconnected from this. This should be the fundamental of learning how to be a human being and function in this world. We don't talk about any of this stuff in school.
No, it's yeah, I mean, in my perspective on the world and everything, it's I'm not really slanted on like I mean, I know agendas exist. I know that there's powers that have agendas and they do their best to dictate, and generally just for their own benefit, one way or the other. And for me, that's how it's always been and always going to be. For me, it's going to be manifested based on whatever the current, current society technological constructs and just abilities are, to where now it's even easier for certain influence to have with technology, to where the influence is even easier to get. It's not like people are just in isolated little pockets where they were completely separate from an external influence. So to me, it's kind of like, okay, that's where that's part of human progression. That's part of the journey of humanity. Because our journey's a journey. I mean, because that's where we're at. I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, and for me, it's just a matter of figuring out what I believe is the best way to live my life and have perspective and raise a child in a way that I think is gonna, be a positive add to the story of humanity.
Yeah. I feel like I'm supposed to influence the world in a positive way, but I feel like I'm actually smart enough to create a system where I can influence on a larger scale.
I agree. That's it's funny you say that, because like what I was asking you about, literally just making notes about, like, what are your practices, because everyone's different, but like what works for you is, because people can read a lot of self-help, or like you said, the information's out there.
Yeah,
but for people to sit there and actually process it in a way that they can relate to, it's not that always easy. So whatever your journey is.
It was my journey because it was destined to happen for me. This is what I was put on the earth for. Because all my journey has led me here to have that on my heart. Yeah. So maybe that's why some people don't feel... you could put the information in front of them, but it's not for them. Exactly. Not right now. But it was crazy? For me. It was for me. Yeah. That's why I got led there. Because I was not going to be interested in that. I was going to be one of those people, what are you talking about? I'm not going to read all that.
Yeah, I don't care. That's not interesting to me.
I didn't get to choose to have it. I chose to walk this path, and that's where I'm being led. So it's just kind of how life is. It's kind of beautiful to think, and that really gives me a sense of purpose.
I see it. I see that you have a sense of purpose. You exude it. And I'm just, and like I say, it's just something. It's an observational thing, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. It's because so many people go out their life, and it's. You sounds like you have an idea what your purpose is. The final version of it, I'm sure you're working towards, but you have a trajectory and path in your mind,
Yeah. And okay, you know what's also funny about life? You have to choose to be in control, right? That's what I've been saying. But you also have to learn the complete opposite side of that, to surrender. Have you ever heard of the ebb and flow of life?
Yeah, like and it's a use analogy like water, like ebbing and flowing. And, yeah.
You kind of have to learn to jump into that in life. So you choose to be conscious of all the experiences, but you have to learn to surrender to your journey, because you are going to be led.
Going with the flow. It's like the
Yeah.
thing, you go, don't fight the current, you
You're
know?
going to be led. You can have all these ideas, but how do I say it? Your ideas are going to be put onto you for a reason, but you can be pulled out of things and led a different way. And you have to surrender to that journey.
And I feel like the synchronicities are a thing that kind of lets you know you're on a journey.
Yeah, and it lets
At
you
least
know
my
that
perspective.
you're on a path. Exactly, exactly.
Because even the podcast, I mean, you know, and honestly, for me, our podcast is it's a weekly time capsule that my daughter will be able to look back, and we'll be able to look back and just actually have those memories of life together and hanging out, you know. But at the same time, there'll be random things that, like, we'll choose to talk about, and then, like, will be brought up by external factors or things, or be brought up, and it's just, like, so specific, weirdly specific things. I'm like, that's literally, like, what we were about to talk about or going to talk about, but like oddly specific.
Yes.
And from like topics, movies, songs, to it's like, all right, well, I think I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yes, and that's a beautiful thing. The more that you do it, the stronger you get in yourself. You know, when those things come up, it may be so little to someone else. Instead of saying, I think I should do it, immediately when you see it, you know. You become so strong in yourself. And then you really just get guided, like so divinely guided. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's great. Just even our last episode, there's a movie we had the year 1990 to talk about movies that came out the year, and the movie that like I really picked to spend some time on was this independent film called Trust. And I was playing the clip, and there's like a component where the character like always carries around a grenade just to like, so that people like, basically he's like dangerous, but he's never gonna blow it up, but he's always carries around this grenade with him, right? And Mikey was just saying that, like, that's funny because literally, and Mikey didn't watch the movie, he didn't know about it. He's like, literally earlier today he was doing something and had a thought about using this grenade for some like idea and story and stuff, you know. And it's just like, that's one little random thing, you know. And it's there's be all these little things like that. It's just, it's interesting.
But that's awesome. I feel like that's just, for me personally, the more of those moments, the more I know I'm in tune. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at. I could not be anywhere else. This is the best timeline I could be in.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing right now.
Yes, and you know, I've actually had moments, especially like with Addie and Avery. There was one time they did not know I was on shrooms. I was tripping so
these
hard
are
on shrooms.
the for listener, Addie and Avery are your little nieces who are like how old?
Like 10 and 7 years
Yeah.
old. They thought I was just so happy that day, which I was, but they didn't know why.
No, we've talked about microdose, like, or there's a powerful benefit to responsible, like, intentional use of psilocybin, in my opinion.
They can definitely,
but it has to be intentional, not just, you know, oh, happy-go-lucky, I want to use my mind. More like actually focused. Like,
you can use them as a tool to expand your consciousness. You can.
Yeah.
If you want to use them as a tool, it will be available for you.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you go in there blindly, they can equally work against you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're too powerful. That's why it's like casual use.
Opening your consciousness with no direction on where you want to go.
Yeah, so with intention, but yeah, no, it's funny, man.
But yeah, so that day I was dancing with him. We were having a dance party. In that moment, I just like left my body for a second. And it was like
you've left your body more than
times.
This is what really fascinates me, because we casually talked about, because me and Mikey have read books and really got about remote viewing and out of body experiences.
I remember you told me that.
You've had these.
Yes. So I was on shrooms dancing. I left my body and I could see. I don't know if this will make sense, but it's not like I was seeing with my eyes. I was just experiencing. I could see all of everything. And I could see how that moment was always there. Yeah. That moment was always there. It was always going to happen.
Yes.
And I had just arrived to it. Like, it always existed. And that's when I knew, like, I was supposed to be there. That's the concept of, like, eternity.
Like, everything's happened.
It's already out there. We traveled through it. And we traveled through that time. And at that moment, I realized I was in the highest timeline that I was supposed to be in. I was in the timeline I wanted to be in, where I was supposed to be for my greatest benefit.
Stephanie. No, are you good? Huh?
Sierra's over there by herself. She just came back. She walked her friend to the car.
Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, we can take it back. She's having a good. We're having a good time.
We're having a great time.
Yeah. No.
I'll be back.
All right.
I'm not gonna be back, but I'll see y'all over there.
All right.
Good luck. Like, what's that even mean? Good luck. These like verbal curveballs are great. Man, yeah, that's it's interesting because there's different like even the CIA studies about like remote viewing and stuff. It's almost like everyone's born with different gifts or predispositions towards things. Like where some people are just naturally able to do that sort of thing. Like it's like they're born, that's how they're wired.
Yeah.
Like
that's
I think
another
you have a
reason
natural
why-
predisposition towards it.
And that's another reason why I'm actually like focused in on the path I am now, is because so many profound experiences happen, like crazy prophetic dreams, crazy shroom trips on or like just crazy experiences that shaped my beliefs. So that has made me who I am now. Like I could not avoid that. That happened to me.
Is if it led you on a positive path, then I think it was the right thing, you know?
Yeah. Like it was always meant to be who I am.
Yeah.
I was always supposed to develop into who I'm developing into.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I don't know, I'm going to be thinking about how you said like you've always been who you are. And I'm just like, why do I have to develop?
No, but that's no, don't think about that, because I think I'm not the normal person here.
But I feel like that's the better.
No, I mean,
thing.
again, that's not the better for me. That it's the perspective of that's just who we are.
Perspective.
And it's funny because I was watching this movie earlier, and I was so bad. Like I was literally like sitting there doing the exercise of I'm gonna watch this movie and not work or do anything else, because I even have ideas like, oh, and make a note to talk about this. I'm like, no, if I remember at the end, then I'll know to talk about it. And now I'm remembering it. But I was just sitting there thinking, because like there's a scene where a guy is taller and and it's like, yeah, that's a tall, good-looking guy. I'm like, I always felt like I'm cool with my height, but it was when I was young, of course, you always wish you're a taller person, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like I was thinking, but no, I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be, and there's no like better or worse, you know. In reality, like you're supposed to be. So it's almost thinking of an exercise to ask people to like, okay, like, make a list, we'll say 5 or 10 things that you wish was different about you, like your physical or just the way, you know, like your basic, more your physical self, or just like certain things that outside of like, I wish I was more positive or but more like about you that you can't control. Yeah. And then be like, okay, either like kind of like the whole dumb, like throw that away, or just be like, okay, this is BS, because I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And even if I was any of these things, that would not be who I am. Yes. And the fact that I'm only as tall as I am, or I'm as large or small as I am, or I'm as dumb as I am, or I'm as whatever as I am, that's exactly who I'm supposed to be. And accepting that fully is part of that whole path to what I think like enlightenment, like accepting it, and not having this mindset of comparing and thinking you're supposed to be something else. Like you are who you're supposed to be, and fully realizing and embracing that in the positive way.
And that's the challenge, because
it's the challenge.
The only reason why we believe we're not supposed to be who we are is because of so many years and lifetimes and so much conditioning.
Yeah.
That's when you're born, you are not born with those thoughts. Those are conditioned into you. And all of our entire reality, we're going to have to be fighting against that conditioning.
Yeah, and that's like the whole daily exercises. Like people think they're cheesy, but even like with stuff like saying things out loud, it's literally, you have to remind yourself, like this power of the spoken word cannot be underplayed. And I think that's the thing. Period. And there's even philosophically speaking, like there was like historical like ideas and debates about, you know, actually like things being said out loud and written versus written, and It's like, yeah, they need to be written and documented, but also they actually need to be said out loud.
Yes.
They need to be spoken.
If you say things out loud within a week, without a doubt, you will for sure see how powerful your word is to the world and to your own mind.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the easiest way to program your mind is to say something out loud.
It's the power of the spoken word. And it's crazy. It's straight biblical. But it's like, even if you don't believe in the Bible, that the power of the spoken word is translatable beyond, like, it's a powerful thing. That's why, like, it's evident in just, if you cut somebody down, the power of those words, if you lift them up, the power of those words, even in isolation, those spoken words have powers, and you might be able to get to metaphysical vibrations in the things that it's doing.
They have done studies on that. They have taken
plants
water, they'll take water molecules, and they've done this with ice too. You say, I love you, and I hate you. 2 separate rooms, 2 different water bottles. They looked at the molecules under microscope. The hate, whenever you said, the one that you said, I hate you too, the way that it was shaped was like, it was negative. It was all spiky.
Yeah, it was inconsistent, discord, just like, you looked at it and you could tell it was not good.
Yeah, it didn't even look right. It looked
wrong.
The other one was like a beautiful,
like snowflakes and stuff.
Harmonious, curved, round.
No, we looked, like, it was probably a few months ago. We talked about this on our podcast.
Yes,
and we pulled up the pictures of what you're talking about.
That is literal scientific proof. The power of the spoken word affects everything around you. There's vibrations in your voice.
Yeah,
and that's why, if you think about the throat chakra, you're expressing yourself. That's what you're using.
Yeah, a
lot of people have blocked throat chakras from lying, not expressing, not talking, so they don't.
I don't know much about that, but other than, like, so what do you mean blocked throat chakra?
So like when you do those things, you lie, you say things that aren't true, you don't use your voice to express yourself, you withhold it, you weaken your throat energy.
Okay.
You have energy centers all throughout your body. Your throat. This is your throat energy center. You weaken it. So when you say things, compared to someone who speaks with integrity, truth, intention, they have power in their words. The universe and the positive energy is giving it momentum. When you have a weak throat center, you can't project strong energy.
And I feel like the evidence of that is just seeing people in successful people and how they dictate and carry themselves.
Yeah, and how they speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like confidence is like a factor that plays into that, I would say.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to a little bit of what we were talking about earlier. So if you have a weak throat energy center, that can manifest into chronic disease. You can get cancer developing. You can get, like, actual physical illness. Yeah. From weakened energy centers in your body. And those are weakened by the things that you are choosing to do. How you speak. How you think. Everything. Every little thing. Yeah. You are in control.
I know. And it's like, it's one of those things I'll try and tell, people, it's like you living in these negative thought cycles are making your health worse.
Yes, they
literally
are consequences.
Like, you're manifesting the negativity, that you're manifesting it physically in the same way you can manifest it positively.
Yes, and the thing about energy is it multiplies. So you're multiplying all this negative energy, and it's circuiting through your body. Of course, you're gonna have chronic disease, and you're gonna get sick quick. Yeah. That's how people can heal themselves, with positive beliefs. You're circuiting good energy within your body. Yeah. How could disease even stay in this vessel with all this good positive
and
energy?
And not say that it's not going to happen where it does, but at the same time, like, there's, I think, a lot that could be avoided for a lot of people that normally wouldn't happen. Because biology is going to dictate some things, but I think we're doing, a large percentage of the population are inflicting more disease and harm on themselves than they realize.
agree with that.
So it's kill them all. I mean, I'm joking.
Only the strong survive.
Yeah. No, there we go.
It's nature. They make the rules.
That's just what we're trying to get to this whole time is some kind of eugenics or something going on. But my man's been great. I can take a quick break. I use the restroom and make sure my wife isn't going crazy. But yeah.
It was good. It was
Heck
good.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.